You can tell what someone's going to say before they finish their sentence. You apologize for things you didn't do. You feel guilty for existing too loudly. That's not anxiety. That's training. Most people had childhoods. You had survival training. And now you're walking around with abilities that feel like curses. I'm about to show you 5 traits you've carried your whole life. Traits that made you feel broken. They're not. They're evidence you survived something that should have destroyed you. One lucky subscriber gets today's shout out at the end. Let's go. Trait 1. The mind reader. You walk into a room and you know, before anyone speaks, before anything happens, you just know. The energy is off. Someone's angry. Someone's lying. Something's wrong. You feel it in your body before your brain catches up. That's not intuition. That's hypervigilance. You became a threat detection system at 7 years old. You had to. Your survival depended on reading the room, predicting the storm, staying invisible when things got dangerous. You learned to read micro-expressions like other kids learned to read books. Now you're an adult, and it never stops. Someone says I'm fine, and you know they're lying. Someone smiles, and you see it doesn't reach their eyes. Someone's tone shifts half a degree, and your nervous system goes into combat mode. You can't turn it off. Here's the truth. You're never wrong about people. When you get a bad feeling about someone, you're usually right. Your radar works. It kept you alive. But here's the cost. You're exhausted. Your brain never rests. You're analyzing everyone, constantly scanning for danger, always preparing for disaster. Sometimes a door closing is just a door closing, not anger. Sometimes someone being quiet is just tired, not plotting. Sometimes people are just people. You survived chaos by predicting it. You don't live in chaos anymore. Your hypervigilance saved your life. It doesn't need to run it. Trait 2. The apology machine. When something goes wrong, what's your first thought? What did I do? Someone's in a bad mood. Your fault. Someone's angry. You caused it. Someone doesn't text back. You said something wrong. Everything is somehow your responsibility. You say sorry when someone bumps into you. You say sorry for asking questions. You say sorry for having needs. You apologize for taking up space. Listen to me. That was installed in you. Your parent couldn't handle their own emotions, so they made them your fault. Their anger was your failure. Their unhappiness was your responsibility. Their problems became your job to fix. You were a child. You couldn't cause an adult's emotional chaos, but they convinced you that you did. So now you carry guilt that was never yours. You take blame for other people's choices. You accept responsibility for things you didn't do. Here's what's true. You are incredibly accountable. When you actually make a mistake, you own it immediately. No excuses, no deflection. That's rare. That matters. But here's what's also true. Most of the guilt you carry doesn't belong to you. Someone being upset doesn't mean you did something wrong. Someone having a bad day doesn't mean you failed them. Someone choosing to hurt you doesn't mean you deserved it. You are not responsible for everyone's emotional experience. You were never powerful enough to control your parents' feelings. You just became convenient to blame. Stop carrying weight that was never yours. Trait 3. The invisible person. Someone asks where you want to eat. I don't care, you choose. Someone asks what you need. Nothing, I'm fine. Someone offers help. You reject it automatically. You can give endlessly. You cannot receive. Here's why. You learned early that your needs were inconvenient. Your feelings were problems. Your desires were selfish. The spotlight was never yours. And when you accidentally stepped into it, you got punished. So you disappeared, not physically, psychologically. You became the helper, the listener, the one who never asks for anything. You made yourself small, quiet, easy. You learned to become whatever was needed. Now you're an adult, and nobody actually knows you. They know the version that serves them, the version that helps, the version that listens, but not the real you. Because the real you has needs, opinions, desires, and you've trained yourself to hide them. Here's the thing. Your needs are not inconvenient. Your feelings are not problems. Your presence is not a burden. The people in your life now are not your parent. They won't punish you for having preferences. They won't shame you for needing support. They won't abandon you for being visible. You are allowed to state what you want. You are allowed to accept help. You are allowed to take up space without apologizing. You spent your childhood disappearing to stay safe. You're safe now. You can be seen. Trait 4. The perfection trap. When was the last time you thought, that's good enough? You can't remember. Because good enough feels impossible. You don't just do things. You do them flawlessly. You check emails 7 times, you rehearse conversations. You agonize over decisions because the wrong choice feels catastrophic. Rest feels like failure. Breaks feel like laziness. Relaxation feels like you're letting everyone down. Here's why. Mistakes weren't learning opportunities in your house. Mistakes were evidence you were worthless. Failure wasn't natural. Failure was confirmation you weren't enough, so you became perfect. Or you tried to be, because maybe if you were perfect enough, you'd finally be enough. You weren't trying to be great. You were trying to be invulnerable. Now you're an adult trapped in an exhausting cycle. You overwork, overprepare, overdeliver on everything. People see success. You see all the ways you're still inadequate. The bar keeps rising. You keep chasing it. It never ends. Listen carefully. You are not your accomplishments. Your worth is not your productivity. You are valuable because you exist, not because you perform. Mistakes don't make you inadequate. They make you human. Good enough is actually good enough most of the time. The world will not collapse if you're not perfect. The people who matter won't love you less if you're flawed. You've been earning love your entire life. You always deserved it. The love you had to earn wasn't real love anyway. Stop running toward a finish line that doesn't exist. Trait 5. The trust mess. This one's confusing. You either trust people immediately or not at all. You swing between both extremes without warning. Here's why. The person who should have been safest was dangerous. The person who should have protected you was the threat. Love came with conditions. Safety was temporary. The rules changed without notice. Your trust system didn't break because you're broken. It broke because you were given impossible data. Trust the parent who hurts you. Love the person who ignores you. Believe promises that never get kept. So now your relationships are complicated. Sometimes you trust too fast. You share too much, get too close too quickly, desperate to believe someone is finally safe. Then you get hurt and swing the other direction. Trusting nobody. Building walls so high, nobody can climb them. Or you trust people with small things but never real things. You'll tell someone your schedule, but not your feelings. You'll ask for help with tasks, but never emotions. Here's the cost. You're lonely. You want closeness, but fear it. You crave intimacy, but sabotage it. You push people away before they can leave. Here's the truth. Not everyone is your parent. Some people are actually safe. Some people will actually stay. Some people won't use your truth against you. But you'll never know who they are if you never give them a chance. Trust is not all or nothing. You can trust slowly, carefully, with boundaries. You can let people earn access. You can be vulnerable without being reckless. You were betrayed by someone who should have been trustworthy. That doesn't mean everyone will betray you. The right people won't punish you for having walls. They'll show you it's safe to lower them. 5 traits. Same origin. The mind reader. You scan for danger constantly. The apology machine. You take blame that isn't yours. The invisible person. You disappear to stay safe. The perfection trap. You achieve but never feel enough. The trust mess. You want connection but fear it. These aren't personality flaws. They're survival adaptations. You developed them because you had to. They kept you functional in dysfunction. They helped you survive what should have destroyed you. But survival strategies are not the same as thriving strategies. You get to choose what happens next. You can let these traits control you. Or you can take what's useful and release what's hurting you. You read people because you had to. Use it to build real connections. You take responsibility because you were blamed for everything. Use it ethically. You learn to disappear because visibility was dangerous. Choose to be seen. You became perfect because flaws were punished. Be human instead. You learned caution because trust was weaponized. Risk carefully with the right people. You are not defined by what was done to you. You're defined by what you do next. You survived the impossible. You're still here, still standing, still trying. That's not weakness. That's evidence of extraordinary strength. Now go show the world what happens when someone who survived chaos decides to create peace.